When it comes to WayForward's flagship half-genie, how much do we really know about Shantae? Hello there everybody, this is Jonathan of Project Nerd and I'm here to ask you a few questions. Do they say we live in the darkness? Do they say there's trouble ahead? And more importantly, are you dancing instead? Today I'm here to talk about the video game character Shantae from her beginnings to her most recent outing. But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Links for those will be in the description below. Without further ado, let's dance through the danger. Alright, so if that cringeworthy intro didn't make it obvious, I wanted to talk about Shantae today. Mainly because I bought the most recent game in this series, Shantae and the Seven Sirens, and it got me thinking about how far this spunky half-genie has come. So today I wanted to look at the character herself, starting from her first game up to this installment. Since I will be talking about various games in succession, you should probably expect some spoilers for the games before the most recent. First, a general look into Shantae's look and abilities throughout the series. Shantae is a professional belly dancer. Her outfit usually consists of sheer hair and pants, a bra, and gold jewelry. This look is also known as the red bedla attire and is the default look in every game, though it does change slightly as well. She has a relatively thin and yet curvy figure and is rather short compared to some other characters in the game. Shantae has olive to tan skin with blue eyes and a long growing purple hair tied back in a ponytail stem stalk. The hair whip is Shantae's trademark and default move. She can use her long purple ponytail hair as a weapon, cracking it like a whip by shaking her head. Shantae's other signature skill is her magical belly dances to cause various kinds of magical effects, most notably teleportation and transformation. Although her dancing style is certainly mostly fanciful, similarities have been noted with the Turkish Oriental Dawn style of belly dance. Actually, if you look deep enough, you notice a lot of Turkish and Ottoman influences, but that is a topic for another video. Adding on to that, Shantae can transform into many forms, such as a monkey, elephant, spider, harpy, mermaid, and game-specific ones. Shantae can also use various kinds of magic spells and items that are bought at shops, those that are also apparently not tied to Shantae's genie powers. In certain entries, Shantae can learn fighter moves through training from her friend Bolo and through upgrades in the shop, where she can perform various martial arts techniques such as backdashes, recoveries, and several types of kick attacks. The first game that Shantae makes her appearances is the aptly named Shantae. Shantae is a half-genie and half-human young lady, the offspring of a human father and guardian genie mother, whom she never met as they disappeared when she was only a baby. She currently serves as the guardian of a place called Scuttle Town and lives in a lighthouse by the sea, where she can spot incoming ships and trouble. The general backstory of the game and world in general is that this is called Sequin Land, and it used to have magical protectors called the Guardian Genies that would keep humans safe from monsters and demons and stuff. However, one day they just upped and vanished, no doubt when the world needed them most. However, Shantae herself is the daughter of one of these genies, granting her an arsenal of magical abilities to combat evil. Generally, she used her long ponytail like a whip and a plethora of magic skills that can be bought from shops like fireballs. In this game, she battles against her rival, Risky Boots, a pirate lady with goals to steal the steam engine from Shantae's Uncle Mimic so she could rule the seven seas. Arg. By the end of that game, she has come to terms with her nature and is revealed to hear from Mayor Scuttlebutt that the fact that she is not a full genie doesn't matter, since she proved her worth by stopping Risky. The second game of the series is Shantae, Risky's Revenge, where the title kinda gives away what it's about. Pirate Girl Risky plans to get back at Shantae by stealing a lamp from her uncle and knocking her out. To add insult to injury, this causes the mayor to fire her from her job as a town guardian. Ouch. Still, you have to give it to the girl for still taking on the responsibility of fighting Risky Boots despite being fired. It's not like the guy hired anyone to deal with the root of the problem. Anyway, the game is not only a platformer, but also a Metroidvania, games that feature a large interconnected world map the player can explore, though access to parts of the world is often limited by obstacles that can only be passed once the player has acquired special abilities from Shantae's transformations. It goes on when Uncle's Mimic reveals to her that 3 hidden magic seals are necessary to release the lamp's magic, and Shantae sets out to find them. With help from her friend, the zombie Roddy Tops, she learns that the seals are in possession of 3 treasure hunters, the Barons of Sequin Land, whom she will have to confront to obtain the seals. While she goes after the Barons, Risky tricks Roddy Tops and her brothers into kidnapping Mimic for her, promising them a lifetime supply of brains and the coffee needed to maintain their sanity. Yeah, apparently coffee keeps zombies from going all crazy. Who knew? Would have been really helpful to know that in Dawn of the Dead. Anyways, Shantae, now in possession of the 3 seals, reaches them as Risky reveals her deception. Shantae surrenders the seals in exchange for her uncle. Risky then reveals to Shantae that the lamp has the power to capture genies, and she sucks Shantae's magical half into it, unleashing it as the evil Nega Shantae. Shantae manages to defeat her counterpart and flees from Risky's hideout as it collapses. She reunites with her friends who promise to help her defend Scuttle Town and adjust to her new life as a human, which is, yeah. Oh, but the mayor is apparently impressed by her commitment, so he rehires her as the town's guardian. So basically, throughout the story, she has friends betray her, her only family held her for ransom, and then she had to destroy literally her magical heritage and power all in one go. But she got her job back, so yay! The next adventure Shantae, the I guess not half genie anymore, finds herself in is Shantae the Pirate's Curse. One morning, our human heroine awakes to the sound of cannon fire. As she rushes out to investigate, her friends Sky and Bolo tell her that their hometown of Scuttle Town is being taken over by the Ammo Baron, who, after a brief scuffle, reveals that he bought the town from Mayor Scuttlebutt and is legally now its new mayor. Corruption? Ammo Baron places Shantae under lockdown pending further punishment. This is why money in politics is bad for everyone. Defeated and despondent, all new, all human Shantae returns home where she is confronted by her nemesis, the pirate Risky Boots. Risky accuses Shantae of robbing her, as her henchmen and items have suddenly gone missing. The two discover that dark magic has overtaken Risky's Tinkerbats, turning them into evil Cacklebats. Wait, if they worked for the bad guy, weren't they already evil? Maybe it was just a day job. Anyways, Risky deduces that the Pirate Master, a powerful evil tyrant, and her former captain, who was sealed away long ago by Sequin Land genies, trying to use the dark magic to revive himself. Determined to stop his revival at all costs, Risky forms a reluctant alliance with Shantae to destroy the dens of evil giving him power, recover Risky's lost pirate items, and retrieve the dark magic inhabiting the Bats. Along the way, Risky reveals that the dark magic is actually Shantae's genie magic, which was corrupted and scattered across Sequin Land rather than being destroyed. So this is technically all Risky's fault then. After the non-genie hero Shantae destroys all the evil dens, Risky attempts to destroy the Pirate Master's grave, but is kidnapped by the revived Pirate Master. Shantae gives chase back to Scuttle Town and confronts the Pirate Master in the Sequin Land Palace. Shantae, the human, agrees to give up the dark magic she collected in order to save Risky. To her surprise, she discovers that the magic has turned back into light magic, allowing Shantae to once again become a half-genie and defeat the Pirate Master with Risky's help, releasing his curse from Risky's Tinkerbats and weapons. With peace returned to Sequin Land, Shantae and Risky develop a mutual respect and understanding of one another. Though Risky admits that she will never be one of the good guys. Gotta keep that serious rivalry. Later, Genie again Shantae uses her powers to return Scuttle Town's ownership and drive the Ammo Baron out of the town, while Risky returns to her life of piracy, preparing for when their paths cross again. Due to the lack of Shantae's access to genie magic for the majority of the game, Shantae now makes use of various pirate items that the player obtains during the course of the game. These include a pistol that can be used to shoot enemies and switches from afar, a hat that can be used to glide through the air and ride on gusts of wind, a scimitar that can break blocks using a downward thrust, boots that send Shantae into a charging dash that can break through certain walls, and a cannon that can be used to perform additional jumps in midair. Though apparently she can still whip her hair back and forth, so I guess that's not a genie thing. Also, in place of transformation dances, Shantae can use a genie lamp to suck up nearby gems, as well as carry dark magic and other gaseous object like smells. Yep. This takes us up to Shantae, Half Genie Hero, a crowd-funded game on Kickstarter. a first in this series, and full disclosure, one that I helped fund as well. In this title, which I sometimes call One Genie, Two Hero, Shantae is awoken by the sound of a voice. Falling outside, she discovers a secret cave where a messenger from the genie realm warns her of an impending evil that only she can defeat, but disappears before it can elaborate further. Shantae awakens from the dream and goes to visit her uncle Mimic, who is working on a new invention, the Dynamo, which will keep Scuttle Town constantly powered and safe from attack. However, the pirate Risky Boots begins a siege on Scuttle Town, with one of her Tinkerbat minions stealing Mimic's blueprints. Shantae gives chase and defeats Risky, retrieving the blueprints, but Mayor Scuttlebutt once again fires her from her position as the town's guardian genie due to Risky's escape and the damage incurred. Is he for real? Anyway, Mimic reveals that several components are still needed to complete the dynamo, so Shantae begins searching across Sequin Land for the remaining components, helping those she finds in need of assistance along the way. With her help from her friends Sky, Bolo, and Ronnie Tops, Shantae receives all the components needed to finish the dynamo. Mimic switches the device on, but it goes haywire and blasts Shantae with dark magic, turning her to her Nega Shantae form. If you are getting deja vu, this game is kind of seen as a soft reboot of the series, or at least the last game, likely for new audiences through Kickstarter, so there's that. Risky appears and reveals she had swapped Mimic's blueprints for her own, and that she plans to power up the machine and use it to invert the magical polarity of the entire genie realm, turning them evil. Shantae attacks the group while Risky escapes with the dynamo in tow, but Shantae's friends manage to snap her out of her trance, returning her to normal. To prevent Risky's plans, Mimic creates a magical polarizer to reverse the dynamo's effects, and Shantae sets out for Risky's hideout. Upon arrival, Shantae defeats Risky and the dynamo-powered Tinker Brain, but the messenger from her dream pulls her into the genie realm and reveals her magic has already been corrupted. Well, their magic. With no choice, Shantae decides she must destroy the genie realm to keep the world safe and destroys the repowered Tinkerbrain, returning to the real world and escaping the exploding hideout at Risky Swear's vengeance. Shantae reunites with her friends at the lighthouse, where Mayor Scuttlebutt announces Shantae's rehired as Scuttle Town's guardian genie. As the others depart, Shantae expresses regret for having to, destroy the genie realm, but the messenger appears and reveals that Mimic's magical polarizer worked, purifying their magic and saving the realm. The messenger also explains that Shantae's mother is alive and well in the genie realm, having given up Shantae as a child to keep her safe while devoting her own life to protecting the real world from greater threats. Finally understanding her mother's sacrifice, Shantae leaves to celebrate with her friends as the messenger returns to the genie room. The gameplay here is pretty similar to past titles, and Shantae plays familiar and has past transformations, but also a few new ones like a bat that can cross long gaps, a crab that can maneuver in the water, and a mouse that can crawl into small mazes. These transformations can be further upgraded with new abilities. Unlike past Shantae titles, which featured connected world maps that could be freely explored, Half-Genie Hero is divided up into several action stages, which can be replayed to obtain new items that become accessible with the use of certain powers, some of which are required to progress through the story. The magic meter from Risky's Revenge returns, which allows Shantae to use unlocked spells at will instead of purging them individually. Also, an expansion was released that takes place during the final act as Shantae's friends enter her mind to turn her back to normal after the dynamo corrupts her. Players switch control between three characters for the first time. Sky, who can use birds as platforms, Bolo, whose ball and chain can grapple and swing from hooks, and Roddy Tops, who can throw her head to pass barriers and reach distant platforms. Then more expansions came out which gave Shantae costumes that gave her new abilities and alters her playstyle. A third expansion, the Costume Pack, includes 3 additional non-canon story campaigns, Ninja Mode, Beach Mode, and Officer Mode, each which features Shantae wearing a different costume that gives her new abilities and alters her playstyle. In the most recent game, Shantae and the Seven Sirens, Shantae and her friends are invited to Paradise Island for the Half-Genie Festival, where she meets and befriends a group of fellow half-genies for the first time. As a return to the style of the first three entries in the series, the game follows Shantae as she explores an interconnected world. During her journey, Shantae encounters towns with non-player characters to interact with, as well as dungeon-style labyrinths containing new abilities to unlock and bosses to defeat. Shantae retains her ability to transform into other creatures, now utilized via an ability called Fusion Magic that allows her to instantly transform and use a creature's ability with a button press instead of having to select it in past games, similar to the pirate weapons in Pirate's Curse. Additional special abilities can be performed by dancing, such as revealing hidden objects or healing wilted plants. Defeated enemies will sometimes drop collectible monster cards, which Shantae can equip to augment her abilities, providing bonuses such as increased movement speed or magic automatically refilling over time. Now that we have gone over her experiences, let's get a look at Shantae herself. Looking into Shantae's real-world concept creation, Erin Bozen, wife of WayForward's creative director Matt Bozon, came up with the idea for Shantae in 1994 while coming back from a day camp where she worked as a counselor. The character was named after one of the campers. She came up with the basic design and had the idea that she could whip her hair as a weapon and would use dancing to charm or summon animals, which was later changed to transformations into animals and mythological creatures. Aaron Bozen's initial inspiration for the character was the TV show I Dream of Jeannie, while Matt's subsequent work on the character and her universe were based on Ranma One Half, Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water, or Hayao Miyazaki's films, as he was introduced to anime around that time while studying at Cal Arts. By 1997, Shantae's design was still not completely locked as she sported brown hair, didn't wear earrings but wore golden bracelets, and had different proportions. At that point, her magic was still meant to summon animals, her dances were generating magical attacks based on the four elements, Avatar, and she had different outfits giving her different abilities. By the year 2000, Matt Bozon had locked the finer proportions, and her ultimate graphical style, adding earrings and replacing the bracelets with wrist guards and coloring her hair to her signature purple. After the first game, Matt Bozon worked to make the character easier for other people to work with. Her hip sash was progressively removed, and various experiments were done to make her feel more kid-like and heroic. But feedback was mixed, which led to reverting to a look closer to her original one, but with the clothing alterations kept. A notable change to Shantae's style came in Risky Revenge, looking more anime-esque than before, while solidifying her main look and that of other main and side characters in that game onwards. For Shantae Half-Genie Hero, her proportions were altered yet again, being described by WayForward as featuring a bowling pin-shaped body, very tall eyes, long torso, and black rectangular pants, with the main aim being on-screen contrast and readability regardless of the distance from the camera, likely due to the game being presented in high definition with 2D vector sprites on 3D environments, unlike previous series' dedicated pixel art aesthetic. In Seven Sirens, Shantae and her crew kept their in-game vector sprites, but in-game cutscenes returned to an art style more reminiscent of Pirate Curse. On a side note, in Shantae Risky Revenge, Shantae was voiced by Megan Glacier. For all subsequent appearances, the character has been portrayed by voice actress Christina V, who had started collaborating with WayForward in 2012. Now that we know Shantae's background and experiences, what can we say about Shantae herself? She wishes to prove her worth as Scuttle Town's guardian genie, despite her limited magical abilities. She is described as a spirited dancer with a strong sense of right and wrong, and trouble-prone. In the first game, Shantae is portrayed as heroic, but a bit naive. Heck, the game itself describes her in the text like this: the heroine, a young half-genie, charged with protecting the fishing port of Scuttle Town. Young and somewhat naive, Shantae's strong gest of justice nevertheless propels her into action. Slightly shy, Shantae is initially afraid of the citizens of Scuttle Town discovering her status as a half-genie. Why? In addition, she often puts herself down, believing that only being half genie is not good enough. Personally, I would have said I was a genie and a human, which is technically true, but after being tricked by Risky near the end of the game and subsequently thwarting her plan, she overcomes her insecurity and shyness and comes to terms with these anxieties, and is happy that the townsfolk still accept her. By the end of the game, she has come to terms with her nature and is relieved to hear from Major Scuttlebutt the fact that she is not a full genie doesn't matter since she proved her worth by stopping Risky. Shantae has a deep care for her assumed Uncle Mimic, as well as her friends Sky and Bolo, and at the end of the first game gives up on the chance to enjoy eternal peace in the genie realm in order to be with them. She also considers the zombie Roddy Tops as a friend, although Roddy's own attitude towards her, while friendly for the most part, is more ambivalent, as she does not hesitate in claiming she would like to eat Shantae brain. Shantae is a special character in that she was a new IP at the end of a console that was basically on the way out, the Game Boy Color. Despite the initial difficulties of her first game being a commercial failure, the series' lasting cult following and critical appeal led way forward to adopt Shantae as their official mascot. Ooh. Considering all the mascots of various games whose series have been shelved or only ever had one or two games, this Half Genie somehow held on, and now is a long running franchise. So it looks like we can look forward to more in the future. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit that like button, leave some comments down below, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Click that notification bell so you know when we are posting next time. Also, I'd like to ask, what is your favorite game in the Shantae series, and what would you like to see in the future games? Personally, I hope that other half genies become recurring characters in future titles, or we get to play with our friends again. Once again, my name is Jonathan, and this has been Project Nerd. So long.